Welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, powered by SOLANA Global with your hosts, the Crypto Bros, myself, Lance Miliaccio, and George Balloutine. This is your ultimate deep dive into everything crypto, blockchain, and decentralized finance. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just stepping into the world of digital assets, we bring you expert insights, top interviews, exciting new projects, breaking news, and game-changing innovations shaping the future of digital assets. There's no hype on the show, no fluff, just real talk, real strategies, and real opportunities in the world of crypto. Because on this show, in crypto, we trust. My brother from another mother, George Balloutine. Rise and grind, bro. What's going on?
Oh, it's grinding day. It's Friday. This is the third show of the day. You know what, though? I got energy for days today. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a lot of money talk. You know, listen, we are going to break down this wild world of money, crypto markets, and everything in between here. We're just your crypto bros today.
Exactly.
That's how we do.
Exactly. That's how we do it. Just like, on our regular show on Rumble, of course, the Crypto Power Hour, now the #1 crypto show on Rumble. If you're joining us for the first time, you'll find out why. If you're here again, thanks for giving us your time. We know that's the most valuable commodity we have. And for those of you that know us from our regular show, the Big Mig Show, we appreciate you giving us a chance to open your mind and educate you about the world of crypto. So, and that's what we always do. We try to start off the show with a little bit of, banter, but the truth is we like to get right into some of the pieces. We like to educate you a little bit. Now, listen, some of this might be a little remedial for you experts out there. Just be patient. We'll get into the rest of the show. But I want to talk about Crypto 101 a little bit. Let's talk about the types of coins. We've had a lot of questions in the chats. We've had some DMs. Hey, can you guys break it down a little bit and tell us more about some of the stuff you guys are covering, just because some of us don't have any experience. Crypto's difficult. It's a complicated topic. It's a new language. So today we're going to talk about the types of coins you need to know about. You've heard us talk about SOLANA Global and stable coins. Of course, what is a stable coin? It's a cryptocurrency that's pegged to a stable asset, usually the US dollar, but it can be the euro or even gold. Gold and silver is on a tear, so that seems like a pretty good idea. Of course, the purpose is to avoid volatility. Think of it kind of as the crypto's version of cash. Some examples are USDT, which is the Tether stablecoin, USDC, which is the USD digital coin, of course, DAI, FDUSD. Stablecoins are commonly used for transferring value quickly. So a lot of times you have to transfer a stablecoin to work on different exchanges. So you earn interest or a safe zone during crypto, downturns. You can actually liquidate your crypto, move it into stablecoin, and that way you know that the money isn't, you're not participating in the volatility. Just like the stock market, of course, crypto has lots of volatility. George, we've talked about the blue chip coins. I don't know if you want to jump in here.
I'll take it over. Sure. Blue chip. Just the name blue chip sounds really cool, doesn't it? Think of blue chip athletes. Well, what it is, it's just a well-established, large cap coin with strong developer support, long track record, and it's high trust in the market. So, another way of doing it is think of it like Apple or Microsoft in the stock world. Now, I'll give you some examples. Yeah, Bitcoin. This is like the original digital asset. You got Ethereum, ETH. That's the foundation of small contracts and DeFi. Look, blue chip coins are typically safer bets for long-term investment. Lance, we always talk about different coins, and
I want to add a blue chip though, George. I think we'd be remiss if we don't add XRP to that as a blue chip, because everything they have going on, XRP is definitely a blue chip coin, in my opinion.
It is, especially with all the banks are gonna implement it into the banking system.
Yeah, exactly.
They're taking XRP and not, so that just says when the banks are gonna adopt something, it's on the up and up, it's legal, it's good, because that says it all. But Lance, I just love the word blue chip because it automatically always thinks about the blue chip athletes, but especially back in the college basketball days.
Yeah, of course.
They were the top athletes. So, but
yeah,
what do we have? We have what? Altcoins, right?
This is one of the more common coins, of course. And this is something you really do know. So for you guys out there that don't know, it's a crypto that isn't Bitcoin. Basically, that term covers thousands of coins with lots of different purposes. And I think the importance is, why do you always say, well, why does this matter? Why do I have to know this? Because altcoins, they're often the ones that introduce the new technology or an experiment with use cases. So maybe faster payments to decentralized apps. We're talking about certain types of contracts. A bunch of great examples of altcoins. And George and I actually own a couple of them. Solana we own Cardano. And of course, Avalanche. which is AVAX. Don't own Avalanche, but it's a great coin. They carry more risk, but also more potential upside. You know, stablecoin isn't going to give you the upside. In bull markets, the altcoins are usually the ones that take off. And I think there's, you know, people say, well, what do you mean they have uses? You're seeing the technology getting unified here between AI, and that's why you're seeing these AI coins come out, which is also a version of an altcoin. You know, and this is a coin or token that supports artificial intelligence. You guys have heard us talk about AI on our regular show, on the Finance show, and of course on the crypto show. And this is infrastructure. You know, it's the tools in the crypto space. You're getting AI-driven analytics, maybe machine learning marketplaces, or decentralized AI models. Decentralized finance, of course, is the hub of all coins. And you can look at coins for good examples of AI coins that are pretty predominant right now is Fetch.ai, goes by FET. Ocean Protocol, that goes by Ocean, all caps. And then, of course, Numere, which is NMR. You know, these are all riding two waves at once. You get crypto innovation and you get AI innovation, and that AI boom is definitely going to impact those.
And then you have the non-favored. Well, favored by some, favored by not many. It's called the meme coin. Now, you have to be careful with meme coins. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to go over what it is. It's a crypto project that's inspired by internet culture, memes, or jokes. They can even just start off with satire. But they gained real traction. If you've seen the one by the hippo, or Peanut
Moodang, or little baby hippo that took off,
or Peanut the squirrel. But those had memes. But you got to watch. Like there's a big risk in meme coins. They're extremely volatile. Some, and this is one I hate. This is the pump and dump schemes. But you know,
the rug pull, baby, the rug pull.
And I'll get into that, but the ones that are strong are the ones that have strong communities. But the pump and dump ones, and a prime example is the Haktua girl. And I'm using her as an example because a lot of you probably know the name. You know, where they, opened up, it did great for not even 24 hours, and all of a sudden they dumped it and everybody lost money. Yeah. That happens a lot. You have to be careful. You have to be careful where you go into chats. Because there's people that are just going to try to boost your confidence, and they're really working for the pump and dump. What are examples of some meme coins? Well, you got Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, the Pepe, the Bonk, all meme coins.
No, those have been around for a long. Those are more stable, in my opinion, in the meme coin world. But the insiders, well, they actually are. Those have been around. All those coins are pretty well established.
Got to be careful.
Well, I think everything's taking a hit right now with the tariffs that are in play. But these are the more stable coins. I think, George, you mentioned some great examples. The Haktua coin's a prime example. There was a coin called Daddy that Andrew Tate was part of. I understand there was a lot of pump and dump in that scheme. I'm sure Andrew Tate made plenty of money.
Look at Argentina. The president of Argentina, he got caught up with a pump.
Yeah, I don't think he counted on. I don't think he was part of the pump and dump, but they used his notoriety, they used his popularity, and they pump it. And what they do is they get into the chat rooms, like George said. They go on social media and they start talking about, it's going to be the biggest coin ever. It's Godius Maximus. Now, Godius Maximus made a lot of people a lot of money, but then at the end, people lost money. It's one of those things. These are the more volatile. They don't necessarily have a use. A lot of times they're based around memes, like George said, or they may be based around anime cartoons, but the ones that maybe are more established are the ones that have very strong communities. Dogecoin took off because of Elon Musk. So, there is money to be made in meme coins, but you have to be extremely active. They are not a buy and hold strategy. No. You have to get in there, pay a lot of attention, be very sophisticated, because these young guys, they are really working it. You see them living in their one-bedroom apartments, their studio apartments. They got a $400,000 car in the garage. They're sitting in front of their computers literally all day long. Well, and then they're showing you a wallet with $10, $11 million. They've done very well for themselves, but it's a riskier bet. And if you don't have that kind of time, I'd have to tell you to try to stay away from meme coins.
I mean, especially like you see meme coins like a big celebrity or somebody popular name trying to stand behind. You got to be careful. But the meme coin is, you look at it, is people capitalize. It's a quick way sometimes to make good money if you know what you're doing, but you still have to be careful, because let's face it, there's not going to be any kind of, I don't know how long, maybe there will be or not, Lance, but another Bitcoin type where it's, look, it started off as pretty much nothing, and now it's, 83,000 was over 100,000. You're not going to see too many of those. Maybe XRP might get there.
They're not as common.
I don't know, but you still have to be careful.
I think we're going to see some more, but it's hard to know which ones, right, George? I mean, the truth is only 5% of the globe is participating in crypto or digital assets right now. So
we're going to hope
we're at the early infancy stage.
That's what we're here for. We're here to
That's
educate
it. That's why
and
the crypto power hour.
teach you
Exactly.
because, you know, the dollars, crypto is the easiest way to exchange and buy things, lower rates throughout the world.
Yeah, and I think I think what we're going to see in the meme coin, there's transition already. We're already seeing AI meme coins, which are meme coins with utility embedded into them. So those might have what I would consider a more desirable long-term potential, because they could be something to do with short-term contracts. They could be something to do with commodities. So I think the AI meme coins got a lot of potential in the future. But there are some other coins. Now those are the top coins we give you, but you got to cover all of them, like the utility token. You know, those things are used to power a specific project or ecosystem, like paying for services or accessing features. You've got a couple examples. A pretty good one is Chainlink. That's a great utility token. And Uniswap is another one. We don't own Uniswap, but we do own Chainlink. So those are ones you definitely want to think about. Governance tokens. Those give holders voting power in a decentralized protocol. They're basically digital shareholder rights. So it's an interesting topic. Aave is one, AAVE, and then Maker is another one you guys could think about. Now, George, here's one, gaming and metaverse tokens.
Yeah, these, I mean, they fuel economies in the blockchain. They're based games or virtual worlds. I'm not into that stuff, but there's a lot of people that are. I mean, I'll give you some examples. XA Infinity, AXS. Then there's another one. I think this is popular. I heard this, the Sandbox.
Yeah, that is
goes
popular.
by Sand, and then you have Render, RNDR.
Render's another very popular one.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Render. Yeah, that's a great company. But you know, gaming is here to stay. The metaverse is here to stay. You know, George and I, we kind of missed that period. Not that I didn't play some games, but I got into, you know, early gaming were simple games, not like Splinter Cell or, the Grand Theft Auto or any of the other big franchise games.
Listen, when Atari came out, Pac-Man, all that, I was a gamer back then when I was a kid, but as it evolved, I didn't have Xbox or none of that.
Yeah.
I mean, to think about it, the events they have where some of these gamers make good money. I don't know.
They're making big money now.
I could have been there.
Look what happened. A lot of the gamers went over to Twitch. Look at Twitch.
Yeah.
A lot of gamers went over to Twitch and they're making millions of dollars. A lot of gamers, or a lot of the big accounts, the Adam Rosses, the iShowSpeeds, a lot of these guys appealed to the gaming community, and they are making literally millions and millions of dollars. I understand iShowSpeed might be the most popular Twitch streamer now ever. He's had more views and more impressions, I think, than anybody else. All right, so there you have it, guys. That's a crash course on coin types. You know, we're making waves in the market. When you hear AI coin rally or meme coin crash, you'll know exactly what's going on. It'll give you some help in understanding what just happened.
You know what's funny? We're talking about gaming world. My friend's daughter, I think she's like 11 or 12. She plays Fortnite.
That's the one Elon Musk plays.
And she keeps telling me she wants me to, learn to play, so I go online and meet her and play. She's a 12-year-old kid, and she's really, really good, and she's beating like some bigger people.
Yeah.
So I says, you never know. One day you could be in the military handling a drone for them, because that's what it's about. They're on their little, sticks, and that's how they changed over with drones and controls. Because they changed them over to gaming because the kids understood that more and are used to it. That's how it evolves. Well,
the truth is, she might become a professional. There's a lot of money. They've actually got tournaments now that pay crazy amounts of money. And Fortnite is ridiculously popular. Like I said, that's Elon Musk game.
I might have to learn how to play that.
I think I'm so busy. I don't know how I'd squeeze it in
Me
now.
too.
We're doing this show. And of course, you guys, if you like the show today, don't forget to thumbs up, comment, share. We want to propel the show, let people know about it. We're going to try to give you the full gamut here, lift you up, educate you, make sure you don't miss out on potential generational wealth. There's lots of great products and lots of great interviews we're going to be bringing on. So think about it from that perspective. We appreciate you guys. And don't forget, if you like the show, subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, please do. You can always find us here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. and every Friday at 3 p.m.
Lance,
let's talk about Bitcoin, bro.
Lance, first, real quick, I'm going to need some time off because I'm going to have to learn how to play Fortnite. I can't disappoint the kid. All right, Bitcoin.
Exactly.
It crashed to what, 82,000 after Trump's tariffs sparked stock market panic. What you need to know. We knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, we did.
It's like you look at the last 4 years of the Biden economy and what he did. It's going to take more than a few months to fix that. It's going to take time.
Of course.
So you're going to see volatility. Bitcoin, like 82, it dropped what, 4% in just one day, Lance? This is just right after Trump announced his global tariff announcement. And look, the stock market, shock. It's like not even shockwaves, worse. It's almost like a nuclear bomb went off almost, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to look at it. Look, there's always going to be volatility in investments because you got people, you've got the extremely deep pockets on one end of the scale, the Michael Saylors, like MicroStrategy, big companies dumping into all the crypto markets. And then the other end, you've got, the regular retail investor. It's just like the stock market. It's no different. Markets swing, short-term pain, long-term gain usually. But of course, even in this crypto market, it wasn't just Bitcoin. Ethereum fell 7%. Solana tanked by 13%. Of course, many coins, I think XRP went down by 21% or something, or 18%. So you got to talk about this crypto crash. It wasn't about blockchain or crypto fundamentals. It was a reaction to macro market forces, which macro market forces like a tariff or like GDPs for a country or like big news where something dramatic happens, rising yields or dollar strength and fears of renewed global trade wars. It's always going to impact everything financial. It impacts the dollar. It impacts the gold and silver. In this case, gold and silver went up because of the reaction, because that's what market volatility. Usually people go for safe haven products like gold and silver. In this case, Bitcoin, a lot of volatility. It's gone way up. Bitcoin started at almost worth nothing. And now, its high was 109,000. Now it's sitting at about 81.7. But it's interesting. I think you have to think of volatility as an opportunity. Maybe you couldn't get into Bitcoin before because it was too expensive. Maybe now you can afford Bitcoin. You have to think about that when that happens. So, I think these are opportunities, in my opinion. Coinbase and MicroStrategy shares fell more than 7%. And of course, experts point to the global liquidity, dollar strength and real yields, not really crypto fundamentals. So these are important things to look at, George, when you're investing.
Yeah. So, but even more, I'm going to give you an example of what I just did recently for my portfolio. So if you go back to 2017 when Trump put tariffs in, if you watch the markets and the trends, you kind of knew it's going to go down and, stocks were going to take a deep, not a deep dive, but they were going to, lose. Everything was going to go down. So from over a week ago, I sold all my stocks, my cryptos, because I knew what was going to happen. Right? So now that it's low, now I'll buy back in at this lower price because I know it's going to go up. It's going to go back up regardless. But now that difference, I'm just making more money. If you know when to hold and sell and dip, or even you say hold the line, you want to hold on to, you could hold on to it. It's just let's say, I'm going to give you an example of XRP. Let's say you had XRP and when it went up to $2.90 or $3. You could have sold it, but if you held on to it, now it's down to like almost $2.
202, I think, or 205, something
regardless,
like that.
It's going to go back up. So you're still, if you held it, you're still going to be good because it's not going to go back to 10 cents, 20 cents. No, it'll eventually go back up. We'll even go back way more than that. So when I sold at, let's say, 290, right, and I waited for the dip, now it came at 201, 210, whatever it is, 202. I'll buy back in right now to 202. So when it goes back up to $3, just to that point, look how much money I made. That's where you have to use your own discern for yourselves. Do the math, do the research. We'll point out things to you, but you can do the research for yourself too, just to clarify it and get yourself a better perspective on what's going on. But
this isn't financial advice. This isn't financial advice. We're going to give you the tools to work with. Hopefully, we'll educate you about new products or things that are affecting the market. Because, as a consumer, George, I'll ask you this. A consumer is going to ask. Of course, they're going to say, Lance, George, what do these Trump new tariffs mean for U.S. consumers? Are we headed into another trade war? And I think it's important to answer questions like that for the audience because I think what Trump is doing is spot on. Short-term pain, long-term gain. George, your thoughts?
That's our saying. Where'd you get it? Trump took that from us, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
Long-term gain, short-term, however it goes.
Short-term pain, long-term gain.
So, listen, there might be some pain. I know there was a lot of pain the last 4 years, but at least you'll see things will change. It's, you can't just put a Band-Aid on something. What Trump is trying to do for the economy is a long-term solution. So, I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody hires you to be the general manager of a business that has problems or not making money. You need to go into that business. You're going to need to see what's wrong, how can you fix it, and make hard decisions that people that work there are not going to like. However, in the long run, that business will make money. So you have to do what's right. So, I mean, that's what's going on with the country. There's a lot of things that are being said behind the scenes. I mean, if it goes the way we want to go, this country will, it's on a process from Wednesday of healing.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
Look, and I think when you talk about an asset like Bitcoin, you have to think that's going to move at an intersection of whatever the narrative is out there, right? And of course, with the available liquidity and leverage, how many people have gone long or short on assets, just like stocks. And you have to think it's mostly trading right now like a high beta macro asset. It's tracking, real yields, rate expectations, and probably the dollar strength or weakness. It's not really about crypto fundamentals. We will get to a more fundamental market, I think, as the population gets involved in crypto. It'll be, it's about global liquidity signals right now and positioning. This is what happens when real rates dip and the dollar softens, Bitcoin breathes. So I think that, we've seen a lot of consolidation around the 80 and 90,000 point. I think that creates a lot of support. So I don't, imagine that we're not going to see it rebound. The question is, will we see some more short-term pain in the meantime? That's what you have to look at. That's what but I think analysts are seeing a silver lining here. It's an opportunity to buy more if that's your position.
Here's another example. And remember when Bitcoin went down to, what was it, 35 or 1,000, 40? Was it that low, or was it 60? When it dropped to that, everybody said, "Oh, it's gonna lose everything." And look where it's at. It went up to over 100.
109.
And now it's down to like in the low 80s.
Yeah.
But it will. It's actually probably on the screen. Bitcoin, 82. There you go. But it's going to go even back more. So imagine all the people that when it went down to 30, they sold all their Bitcoin. Just think.
Yeah,
how much money they lost right now. Just think about it. You're like, because you were, you weren't too afraid. Sometimes you got to know the risks and rewards, but here's
the deal.
Bitcoin's here to stay.
If you don't have all day to trade, you can go to a company like BlockTrustIRA.com. They do over 60 cryptocurrencies. It's an opportunity to have somebody manage your portfolio, and they take advantage of the volatility of the movements up and down. So they try to sell when they think it's hit a peak, and they try to buy when they think it's hit a bottom. So if you need somebody to manage your portfolio, you should head over to BlockTrustIRA.com. Great company. They know what they're doing. They're using AI. And the AI from Animus Technologies has really innovated. They just got an award from Bitcoin Magazine, top Bitcoin trading platform in the world. They got $1 million in seed capital to grow their business. They're doing amazing. I understand their assets are growing 300,000 to 400,000 under management every single day. They do IRAs and regular accounts. So Block Trust IRA, you can check those guys out. But listen, here's news. Now remember, liquidity is the king, right? When it comes to insolvency claims or liquidity claims against a stablecoin company, questioning whether or not they really have the money they have, because there's really a lot of the companies don't have full transparency. Solum Global is a company that believes in full transparency. Not every company does that. FDUSD stablecoin dived, and remember, stablecoin is supposed to be one of your stable assets. You're not supposed to have to worry about this. It went down to 0.87. It's usually pegged to the dollar after Justin Sun drops bombshell about insolvency claims. It bounced back pretty fast, but this is a concern that the media and press can control volatility so closely. George, don't you think?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because when you have the media collaborating together to control the narrative, this is what happens. Even as a stable coin, I mean, it dropped because of false narratives. So you have to be careful where you get your news sources from. This is why we are here at the Crypto Power Hour, to bring you the right news, the truth. We don't just take any story. We don't take just from because somebody said something. No, we vet everything because we want to make sure what we say on this show is 100% factual. Yeah. And if it's something in opinion, we'll tell you. Listen, this is my opinion. We'll say that. We'll let you know. I mean, it's crazy. Thank God it's bouncing back, Lance. I want to.
Well, Wintermute is, I want to just point this out to the audience. Wintermute is a major market maker. You might have heard about these guys before. They were a group that pulled 30 million from Binance during a panic. And of course, that caused Binance to even drop more. They scooped up 75 million of this FDUSD at this 87 cents. Which of course they profited tremendously from volatility. The reason it dropped, you have to remember that Justin Sun sued FTT. This is the trigger, and he accused it of insolvency issues and saying that they weren't redeeming client funds. and he claimed that somehow they had misallocated to some sort of an entity in Dubai. So when you look at this kind of stuff, this is impactful, but it's the same thing. Mainstream media, news, a lawsuit, maybe an overreaction. It seems like an overreaction because the bounce back would tell you that, George.
Yeah, I'm going to put it up because these were the post that went up. The one you see on the left of us, that was the first post. That was the one to the right is the first post, and then they put this up after it. It just shows, I mean, it's saying, I'm going to look it up so I can read it better. It's saying since FDUSD depegged, Wintermute has transferred what Lance just said, 75 million. They likely bought FDUSD at a discount during the depeg and redeemed it 1-to-1 through First Digital, making a solid profit.
Well, and that's why I think it's important for independent audits. This may be why we need to see some legislation coming out of the Trump administration where we see more required independent auditing, because it always comes down to transparency. And that's, Solon Global always talks about transparency. There's companies out there that may very well not have the liquidity to, make sure they can pay back customers' funds. So you always wonder, where's the money once you put it in? And this kind of excessive volatility that's just triggered by one lawsuit. The crypto markets really, for the most part, there's a lot of inexperienced investors. I'm not saying they're inexperienced to crypto, but they're inexperienced maybe in what the long-term aspects are. You can look at their ages. A lot of young people that invest in cryptocurrency, simply because a lot of the older crowd doesn't understand it. When you look at that demographic, their experience isn't for the buy and hold. Their experience is the get-rich-quick scheme. So you could see that overreaction, knee-jerk volatility. They've also been trained by those rug pulls we talked about earlier. So when those rug pulls occur, they're kind of reinforcing this kind of behavior. So you have to keep that in mind, that we're going to see this kind of stuff, and you have to assume that volatility like this is going to be really common.
I want to bring some up. So we always say like stable coins, for most part, are very stable. Although you've seen what just happened because, it depends on like who's saying what, bad information. But one thing that you can always count on and should look for, and is transparency. And that's why Solon Global remains full transparency to everybody. And that's huge because you have other people that don't want to do that. You have to say, what are they trying to hide? So it's one thing you could look for. Look for any company that has full transparency. So you could see exactly what's going on.
Independent audits are part of that. Solon Global participates in independent audits, so that's the key to it. That's why I believe in what they've got doing long term. And their healthcare solution is incredible. They've got an AI healthcare solution that can literally damn near stop fraud 100% in its tracks. So you'll want to keep an eye on that company for that. Well, there's big power shift. We've already been talking about Bitcoin. The whales. Now, a whale is a big buyer, a market maker. You know this in the cryptocurrency world. They call them whales. They are buying as retail investors are dumping their Bitcoin bags. And the whales normally indicate somebody with over 10,000 Bitcoin. They are aggressively accumulating. For them, this is a buy opportunity. And that's kind of what I told you. If the whales are buying, you really don't necessarily want to sell in the short term, unless, of course, you think you can buy back in, as George guessed. But it's hard to time markets. And when whales are buying big, this accumulation score right now is 0.6, which they're signaling strong bullish activity. It's a big deal, man.
It is. Listen, it's a widening divergence that hints at two-tiered market, Lance. I mean, it could signal an incoming price surge depending on how the dynamic unfolds. But you just said like retail holders under like 1 BTC Bitcoin are selling, with accumulation scores dropping below 0.2. Now, institutional demand, though, surged in March. Well,
here's the deal. When you see strong institutional demand, you have to look at it from the perspective of that should be a buy signal, don't you think, George?
Definitely. Look, MicroStrategy added 30,000 Bitcoin. GameStop added Bitcoin as a treasury asset. U.S. government announced its own strategic Bitcoin reserve. So what happens? Over two-thirds of 2017 bull run investors fully exited by December 2024. But from 2020 to 2022, buyers are largely holding steady despite mild sell-offs. So that's the smart buyers. What is happening? Market tension is building. Accumulation versus sell pressure may dictate the next major move. But don't let anybody dictate what you want to do. Do it yourself. That's what I say, Lance.
There's no doubt. You have to really pay attention to what's going on. And you want to educate yourself. And that's why you're here. The Crypto Power Hour. You're here to get educated. That's our plan. George Balloutine, myself, Lance Migliaccio, will be right back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about crypto risks. Let's talk about the 5 biggest things that newbies need to watch out for. Stay tuned. The Crypto Power Hour, the #1 show on Rumble, will be right back.
As an American who keeps up with the real news, you know by now the severity of the economic issues that are plaguing our great nation. My name is Jonathan Rose, and I'm the CEO of Genesis Gold Group, the only major faith-driven company in the industry. 2024 is a year full of uncertainties, with trillions of dollars in national debt, inflation impacting your savings, and a pivotal election year. Your peace of mind is more valuable than ever. Now is the time to use physical gold and silver to preserve your hard-earned retirement savings with a gold IRA. Call Genesis Gold Group today. Our team has decades of experience helping folks just like you take their first step on the path to true financial freedom with a gold and silver IRA.
Call Genesis Gold Group today at 1-800-200-GOLD for a no-commitment, informative consultation with one of our experts to find out if we can be a fit for you. Call now at 1-800-200-4653 or visit genesisgoldgroup.com.
In a world of uncertainty, be prepared with Silver Prepper Bars, your ultimate hedge against political instability and economic turmoil. Introducing the Silver Prepper Bar, crafted from 0.999 pure silver and proudly made in the USA. This tangible, divisible asset can come in handy even in the toughest of times. Portable, perforated, and easily tradable, the Silver Prepper Bar is your lifeline in times of crisis. When facing inflation, currency devaluation, and financial meltdown, Silver Prepper Bars provide peace of mind. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Secure your future today with the exclusive Silver Prepper Bar, the only silver bar on the market divisible into 3 different size pieces for maximum utility, all while fitting in your wallet. The smart choice for savvy investors and preppers alike. With Silver Prepper Bars, you're ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation. As gold and silver prices continue to surge and top economists predict upcoming shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals in the form of Prepper Bars. Go to PrepperBar.com now and place your order before supply runs out and prices go up. All payment methods accepted. Order your Silver Prepper Bars now at PrepperBar.com. Silver Prepper Bars, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Order now.
All right, welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, powered by SOLANA Global, where we will break down the wild world of money markets and everything in between with your hosts, Lance Migliaccio, George Balloutine, the Crypto Bros. You know, we're going to go for this is for newbies. We're going to talk about crypto risks and what the 5 biggest things that you need to watch out for. But first, I'm going to tell you what, the crypto risks, look, they're everywhere. You know, we have the blockchain industry. It's just getting better. It's maturing over time with more technology. But some of the world's largest financial institutions are pouring into this space. The crypto markets, they're still plagued by plenty of pitfalls. And they're waiting for some scammer to go after a newcomer. So you have to be careful. Yeah, look, we just talked about this in the beginning with the pump and dump, where you have like a shady influencer or somebody that doesn't even know about crypto, but, you know, is letting their name used because they just are new to the space. So, and one of them was the Haktua girl, that pump and dump, or they call it, another one is befuddling complexities of a digital asset, self-custody. The risks of cryptocurrency aren't to be taken lightly. You have to be careful. So is cryptocurrency risky, Lance? There's no sugarcoating it. What do you think? Investing in crypto assets like Bitcoin,
look,
Ethereum?
Investing in general whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's a hard asset, even gold and silver. It's always complicated. You can't really sugarcoat this, like you said. You have to think about crypto assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. They carry greater risk than storing your wealth in maybe the bank. But you do have to worry about if you're in the U.S. dollar. It's a fiat currency. We're $36 trillion in debt. You got a private institution controlling our money. These price swings are more volatile in this market, like I said, because of the immaturity of the players in the market. Blockchain technology can definitely be tough. It's hard to navigate. It's hard for people, older demographic, even for myself. When new things come out, sometimes I don't understand it. I'm kind of like, what the hell is this? I've never seen this before. So you're always looking for that most trustworthy crypto, but the more trustworthy the crypto, maybe not as much upside. Michael Saylor will tell you that the only coin to invest is in Bitcoin. And I would tell you on this show that I don't agree with him. It's not that I don't think Bitcoin's an opportunity. It's going to be around for a long time, but there's always going to be a popular asset class or a stock or something else. Sometimes they see their heyday. Sometimes they go the distance. I always question whether or not Bitcoin will continue to go the distance. So, the crypto space has a wide range of financial services and freedoms, and there's more and more coming on every day, ETFs and everything else. When it comes to decentralized financial systems like smart contracts, there's lots of flexibility, and it's going to change everything in the cryptography and investing world. You're going to see massive changes in our own banking systems. The SWIFT system is going to go away, and the blockchain system will be fully integrated. So these are important. I think, and George, you analyze these. I think these are the ones you picked are right on spot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you always have to be prepared for some of the biggest risks newcomers might face, right? And you have, from the fake Elon Musk that plagues social media. Yeah, how many?
Wait a minute. I have a bunch of Elon Musk following me on social media. A bunch of them.
Unless
you telling me they're fake?
Unless it's the guy with millions of followers. Yeah, it's fake.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, look, you also have nefarious hackers that try to get their hands on your precious private keys. We've seen that from North Korea Group.
Yeah, Lazarus Group. They're amazing.
We're going to go, we're going to talk. Number one, we're going to go hack and scams, right? Crypto hacks and scams are perhaps one of the biggest issues facing the growth and acceptance of the blockchain industry, right? According to blockchain researchers, DeFi, the industry lost over $1.9 billion to hacks in 2023 alone.
Ouch.
And they only, $1.9 billion, they only recovered $200 million. Ooh.
Yeah.
That sucks. But
not easy.
But the crypto industry, they seem to suffer a devastating hack almost every week, with millions of dollars being siphoned out of crypto wallets or compromised DeFi protocols. But on top of that, the anonymous nature of blockchain transactions can make tying the stolen funds to identity difficult. So, how did they find out it was the hackers out of North Korea? Well,
IPs.
As far as
wallets,
we have technology, it's advancing, and there's more than one way to skin a cat and find out who these people are. So how do you mitigate your risk? Well, fortunately, avoiding hacks and scams in crypto is far easier than people would have you believe. That's right. Got to take action. So keep watertight cybersecurity practices, and you always need to maintain good digital hygiene that will ensure that your crypto assets stay safe, regardless of what hackers might try. So we're going to give you an instance. You have your cold storage wallets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take that wallet, just put it in a Faraday bag. When you're not using it, put it in a Faraday bag. That prevents it from anything reaching it. It will have no Bluetooth signal, no cellular signal, no any Wi-Fi signal, nothing. And when there's no signals going to it, nobody can even attempt anything to it. Nobody. So you only break it out when you need to use it. That's just an easy way of doing it. But you never
protect your seed phrases.
Yeah.
Those are irreplaceable. I'm not talking about your password when you open up an account on one of the exchanges like Binance or Coinbase or Kraken. There are seed phrases, which is your next level of security. We talked about them on the show. Usually it's a 12-word seed phrase. I'm sure they're going to get more sophisticated.
No, some have 15. Some have more than 12 word though.
Well, it is literally going to be impossible for you to recover your assets if you lose that seed phrase.
Yeah, never share them. That or your private keys. Never share
and
them.
Don't keep it together with your wallet.
No.
Keep it separate, because if somehow you take that wallet and you give people an opportunity to steal it, and now they have your seed phrases, you are never going to recover your money from that cold storage.
So, what you could do is, for let's say your seed phrases, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could write it down on a piece of paper and put it in some lockbox, And you should actually, just to be safe, have it stored in 2 different places.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You could take a computer and totally disconnect it from the internet. Never allow it. Just shut off the Wi-Fi, everything. This way it's not connected to the internet. And just use it as like a storage thing. That's another way.
Yeah, a lot of people will store their seed phrase on a separate drive, but I agree with George. Redundancy is safety.
Yeah.
But let's talk about one of the next big ones. You know, a lot of people talk about volatility. To me, volatility is an opportunity. That's what makes the market exciting, right? The fact that you can participate in volatility on the up and the downside. It comes as no surprise for people that are trading cryptocurrencies that, you know, you have to really have, you can't be a person that gets nervous easily. There's lots of dramatic price swings, and they're part of the crypto's DNA. And of course, with the age demographic, these people are less experienced when it comes to investments. They may have made a lot of money in the crypto world, but they also react very quickly. And the young people, they're on there a lot, 24/7, 365 in some cases. They some of them work in teams, working around the clock. You know, that isn't an easy haul. So if you're going to deter, you know, they're deterring institutional investors for years. You know, the crypto volatility has always been kind of one of those things. But as the administration embraces it, and as the rest of the world embraces it, I think we're going to start to see this volatility risk get mitigated. But if you're a risk-averse, investor or trader, you know, trading digital assets on exchanges like Binance or Coinbase might not really be for you at this time. So you really want to talk to your financial advisors, because as a general rule of thumb, crypto assets with high liquidity and large market caps like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they generally handle market downturn better than the small ones, small cryptocurrency markets. And that's difficult. There's been times when people wanted to sell a cryptocurrency and there's no liquidity. That means the company doesn't have the money to give you the money back, and all of a sudden you're sitting on a profit or a loss, and you're continuing to watch your loss go down, and you can't get out of the smaller coins. So it's tricky.
Yeah, it even happened. Remember when like Robinhood shut down when people were selling off, and they didn't want to let nobody sell if they're I forget the name of the coin. It might have been the Haktua. Was it?
It might have been the Haktua coin.
Could have been. I know
that's happened before.
Yeah, it's happened. So you know. Those
they do
are
it with the stock exchange. You know, they shut down the markets when the markets are just going off. Let's say there's a terrorist attack and the markets start going crazy. They shut down the markets during 9/11.
Yeah.
People couldn't get out. People wanted to sell and they couldn't get out.
Yeah. But, you know, we're talking about even risk with crypto, but if you're going to invest in stock, you're still taking a risk too. Same thing.
Absolutely.
So you just, you know, it's all about doing your homework. But, you know, our next thing is regulatory problems. The regulatory landscape surrounding crypto space it's complex as blockchain technology itself. Like every jurisdiction operates under its own rules, and what is legal in one country might be considered money laundering in another. And this is where it can get tricky, Lance. We've seen this happen. As such, crypto history is plagued with dozens of complicated lawsuits and protected legal battles. Token issuers like ICO service providers, their trading platforms, must remain compliant with local governments, while the rules around what crypto regulation looks like continue to be an unfinished topic of conversation. Lance, how do you migrate to your risk?
You know, how to mitigate? You know, when you're mitigating risk.
Sorry, migrate.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to migrate. I'll migrate my risk to you if you like, George. You can have all my risk, and I'll take all the upside.
See, that's what I want. That's what I was doing. I was migrating my risk to you.
Yeah.
That was my thought. I don't want no risk.
But the point is, you guys have heard about the regulation. We've heard about the Bitcoin strategic reserve. We've heard about the crypto czar here in the United States. Well, these same kind of things are happening all over the globe. So if you're investing in a cryptocurrency that, say, originated in Japan, as an example, that the founders are there and they're on an exchange that you're having access through one wallet, there are lots of cross-border issues, and you have to keep that in mind. So managing your risk, you know, in this department is really tricky, because these individual, you know, has very little control over anything that has to do with regulation, because these are governments, and you have no idea what could be happening in a foreign country. So you have to protect yourself. The best thing you can do is to stay informed, you know, on all aspects of crypto asset ownership, which is why you're here. That's why you're here on the Crypto Power Hour. That's why we're the #1 show on Rumble, because in crypto, #1 crypto show on Rumble. Let me clarify.
Thanks to you listeners, by the way.
Yeah, and it is you guys. Without you, we wouldn't have it. We appreciate the people in the chat. We appreciate everything you guys are doing, and that you support the show and you're letting people know about it. But you have to think about it. You could potentially be breaking local laws. In China, they have lots of legislation concerning crypto, but yet they have one of the biggest Bitcoin mining farms, in the entire world. So it's a weird kind of dynamic. So you just want to stay tuned to this show Wednesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. and you want to watch the regular markets. And I think once you get involved in crypto, you're going to get sucked in. It's a great opportunity. I think it's generational wealth happening right now. Now, George, this is near and dear to your heart. Self-custody.
It is because look, self-custody, or to having complete control of your assets. This is the foundation of the entire cryptocurrency movement. This is blockchain. This is storing your digital assets in a crypto wallet, what we're just talking about, completely inaccessible unless you let them to anyone but you, is why so many people invested in Bitcoin. Because you have control. You don't have the feds, the banking, nobody involved. But look, unfortunately, self-custody comes with plenty of risks. But you know what that risk is? You will be safe from central banks or government freezing your funds. But are you safe? But really, are you safe from yourself?
Yeah.
Right?
How about the guy that threw his drive into that landfill, George? And it's like, I think it's 7 or I don't know the exact number because there was a dip. It's somewhere between $600 million and $800 million in Bitcoin that he can't recover.
What about people that lost their seed phrases and you get like 10 attempts? After that, it's over. You can't get that's it. It locks out. You never see that again. That's why it's important. So you are to yourself can be your own risk, but there's ways where you won't be so risky, I should say.
There's a story that's true that's out there about when Bitcoin started and it wasn't very valuable. And some companies started accepting Bitcoin. And there was a pizza company that had agreed to start accepting Bitcoin.
Pizza, huh?
And some guy, wanted to try it out. And back then, Bitcoin was almost worthless. And I think he spent 30 or 40 Bitcoin to buy a pizza. And I always think of that guy now when he looks at the price and he's like, world's most expensive pizza.
Yeah.
Even at 80,000 a coin, that means 800,000 per 10. He paid millions for that pizza because he didn't hold on to his Bitcoin. But of course, who knew? He didn't know. Nobody knew. That was back when Bitcoin, when there was Bitcoin conferences, there might be 6 or 7 or 8 people in the audience, not like now where there's thousands and thousands of people that attend. So these incorrect wallet addresses, the seed phrases, I can't emphasize it enough. You want to double check, all your blockchain transactions before sending them. Verify all the addresses and amounts are correct because you can send it, you ain't getting it back. You send it to a wallet out there, they have no obligation to return it. There's no guarantee. It's it's kind of like Zelle. If you Zelle somebody money and you send it to the wrong address, there's a good chance you're not getting that money back, Venmo or Zelle. They're only going to support you so much if there's like a hack or something. So you really want to be extra careful like you would with any real asset. Go ahead.
What is the best way to keep yourself safe when practicing self-custody? Is to educate yourself on all the risks and maintain consistent behavior. And that is why you have the Crypto Power Hour. Because this segment right now, that's what we're teaching you.
Yeah.
We're not telling you anything.
That's why we're on Rumble also.
We're
free
teaching
speech.
You, right?
Free speech. Rumble doesn't restrict us. Rumble and locals, these are our home base. You can always catch the show here. If you can do the paid subscription, please do. If not, hit the subscribe button, the like, the comment, the share. Rumble wants to know exactly what you guys are thinking. Tell us in the chat if there's some interview you'd like to see or a topic you want us to cover. We want to get input from you guys. We appreciate all the input. Now, listen, the other one is always tough. It doesn't matter. And this holds true in life.
This is what we're talking about with the influencers and stuff.
Yeah, blindly following people, right? Blindly following the crowd. Social media, this coin's going to be the biggest. It's going to be huge. Fart coin. Yeah, a lot of people made money on fart coin, F-A-R-T. A lot of people did. Crazy names, right? But we see this in the crypto world. We had the Moodang coin. We had the Godius Maximus coin. We had Peanut, the squirrel that got killed by the New York State Gestapo, right? That coin took off. A lot of people made money. A lot of people got out. Those coins are still going. I'm not saying they're good investments. I'm saying blindly following. There's lots of gigantic profits, but also dreadful losses that are common in the cryptocurrency markets. So of course, the market, our industry is sensationalized at this point, right? Because you got these crypto influencers that got in very early, the people that started buying meme coins when they first started. And a lot of those guys made millions of dollars. Some people started out with a couple $100. You've heard the stories, and now they're worth $1 billion. But these people are shamelessly shilling all these bags or coins they're behind. I think Andrew Tate's done an amazing job of shilling coins for himself. He's made a lot of money and tricked a lot of people. Said he's going to blow some coins up, but really it's because he's got coins he's going to pump and dump himself. So how do you mitigate your risks? It's pretty obvious. The easiest way is to avoid blindly following any of the crowds or influencers or celebrities simply because they talked about a coin. Keep a clear head, do your own research. There's lots of research tools out there, amazing tools, and we'll be going over those on this show. We're going to show you some of the best tools out there like Dex Screener and some of the others. And anytime you see an influencer pushing a certain coin, ask yourself what the motive might be. Now, in the case of the Libra coin, that was big news recently. Milei thought he was really doing the right thing. I don't think he even really understood pump and dump, but he thought it was an opportunity to do something amazing for himself and his country. It turned out it wasn't this. But, there's a flip side to this, though, George.
There is, but you know what? What makes it flip-sided, Lance? It's got crypto. Listen, crypto space is exciting. It's testing and exploring new possibilities. Look, you have new DeFi protocols and innovative new use cases for blockchain technology are inherently risky. And exposing yourself to the cutting edge of this industry means occasionally throwing caution to the winds and diving into the Wild West. So listen, you could take $5 and $5 and put it to a meme coin and just let it sit there. You may make money, you may lose that $5, but you could test the waters. I'm sure people can throw $5 here, $1 there, $2, because meme coins are less than a penny sometimes. Or less than 50 cents. It all depends.
Yeah, they're 100 thousandths of a cent a lot of times when they first start out.
But listen, we're going to keep telling you, I'm going to keep putting this into your heads. The best way to stay safe in crypto is educate yourself as thoroughly as possible.
Yeah.
You learn about the financial markets, you learn about blockchain technology, how it works, and how to ensure you're prepared for whatever the crypto industry throws your way. So, is crypto a high-risk asset? Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, most definitely it is.
Most financial regulators consider cryptocurrency and associated digital assets a high-risk asset class, right? Lance, what is the safest cryptocurrency? Tell them.
Well, there's no doubt that a stable coin is safe, right? You take a USDT or USDC because they're pegged. They're usually the safest. You could get some bad news. You caught the one earlier we talked about that went to 87 cents, but usually they're pegged to $1 or gold at a certain value. But they also don't have the upside. So the pegged coins aren't really the investment coins. Those are coins you can sit your money in and park your money in. Rather than going back to USD, you can go to USD Tether or USDC. Transfers to both wallets are easier. They're on the Solana exchanges. They've got the right protocols at the higher levels that allow you to move them rapidly into other coins. But look, you got to think about it. You always have to ask yourself in any investment, what are the risks, right? So risks in crypto, it's price volatility. It's hacks, scams, market manipulation, of course, accidental loss of assets and self-custody. Don't throw your hard drive or your wallet with its seed phrase into a landfill, because if you do, you're never going to get it back. And don't buy a pizza with it and think 10 years down the road that you just paid $3 or $4 or $5 million for that pizza. The best way to mitigate your risk to all the above is to educate, right? We talked about the National Crypto Association. That's a new initiative. Ripple invested money. The head lead counsel for Ripple is running it. We're hoping to team up with them, but an amazing group. They're going to be doing more and more education because right now we know in an infancy like this, lots of people don't have the experience. They don't have the knowledge. And of course, that makes it even much riskier and much more volatile. So we're trying to hopefully, along with shows like this, we'll be able to remove some of that volatility in the market by educating people. Because I think in general, buyer beware. Educate yourself, talk to your financial investors. This is not financial advice on the show. This is educational advice. So you can go to your financial advisor or you can take the time to educate yourself.
There's an old saying, no risk, no reward, right?
Yeah.
So, but you clarify how much risk you're willing to take. And it's, that's on you. Sometimes you got to take, sometimes you got to, put yourself out there, take a little risk and go for it.
Yeah, it depends on your income, your age.
Much you want to go for it.
Right, your net worth, all the normal things you could consider otherwise. But look, the point is that the crypto is here to stay. You don't want to look back and say, oh my God, why didn't I buy some XRP? Why didn't I buy some Ethereum? I know I couldn't afford a full Bitcoin. Why didn't I just buy some Bitcoin? At the end of the day, you don't want to look back like that. You just want to diversify. Diversification in any financial choice is your best friend. owning some hard assets like gold and silver, owning some stocks if you're comfortable with that, owning some cryptocurrency, and maybe stick with the blue chip cryptos. Maybe stick with altcoins. Maybe don't dip your toe into that meme coin pond because you might find out it's full of piranhas and great whites waiting for you to make a mistake.
But like I said earlier, transparency. You want to go for stable coins? Look for companies that have full transparency.
Yeah,
they have
big
nothing.
deal on that.
They're telling you they have nothing to hide, and they have independent audits. So that tells
No
you
doubt.
how much character that company has. That's big. Actually, Solon Global does that. Remember that.
Well, look, as always, the Crypto Power Hour appreciates you tuning in today. You guys are always a great audience. And we just want to say this. Remember, we're here every Wednesday at 3 p.m., every Friday at 3 p.m. You can find us on X, social media. We're on X, we're on Getter, we're on Gab, not Gab, and we're on True Social. So that's the Crypto Power Hour social media. Also, Solon Global social media on X, Gab, True Social. Those are the home bases. You can find us there. Follow us. Follow G. Ballantine. Follow The Big Mig Show and follow Lance Miliaccio on X and all the other platforms. You know you're going to bring it. It's in Crypto We Trust. This is the plan. Every Wednesday and Friday, we're the #1 crypto show on Rumble, and we're just going to keep taking this baby higher. George B., last words on the way out of the gate.
Wednesdays and Fridays at 3 o'clock, but eventually we will be adding more shows during the week. We'll get there.
Oh,
But until then,
breaking news.
you all have a blessed weekend. God bless. Love you all. Catch you on the flip side. In crypto, we trust.